My pizza had too much crust on it, so I started a small fire in the bathroom, and I was shocked and appalled when they asked me to leave. They pushed me out so quickly that I didn't have time to grab crossbow from the booth I was sitting at. It was unprofessional and rude. I've received a warm welcome from almost every other restaurant that I started a fire in, and I certainly won't be returning to Carmine's. 1 star.
I'm Christian Kahn, and this is our panel. We have 60 years of experience, and 55 of them come from this gentleman. He heads up the bar at Nick and Steph's. He's the long-lost stooge, Lawrence DePetta.
Great to be here, thank you.
You bet. Then prematurely retired after just 5 years in the 9th circle of hell that we call the floor at Caroline's, straight out of Brockton, Mike Tartaglia.
Hey everyone.
This gentleman was once described by Yelper as a confused hipster maitre d'. He is now Jersey City's resident startender, the original model for Johnny Bravo, Billy Kester. All right, so tonight we're gonna start off with a little drinking game that's gonna happen while we have our discussion. It's called Bootlegger. Perhaps some of you know it.
No.
Well, that's why I'm here to explain it to you. So what's gonna happen is everyone's gonna get a card. There's gonna be an ace and a king. Whoever gets the ace is gonna be the bootlegger. Whoever gets the king is gonna be a cop. At some point during the discussion, the other two are just participants, I guess. During the discussion, at some point, the person who is the bootlegger is going to give a nice, obvious wink to someone at the table. Once that person receives the wink, they're then going to say, the deal is done. Once they say that, then the cop has to figure out who the bootlegger is. They're going to point their little cop wand, what's it called, a baton with the little cop baton?
Club.
The person, cop club? I think that might be right.
Yeah.
That might be a conductor that I'm thinking of. So they're going to point their cop baton at the person they think is the bootlegger. If that person is the bootlegger, then that person who is the bootlegger has to chug their drink. If they're not the bootlegger, the cop is going to chug their drink. God, did we get that right? Does that sound right? Perfect. Okay, good. Let's do it. So I guess let's start at the beginning. How'd you guys get into the job that you work? You want to start over there?
Sure. I've been a bartender for 29 years.
29 years?
Yeah, I started when I was...
Because you don't look a day over 70.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you know, clean living, dirty thinking.
Yeah.
29 years.
Yeah.
And how did you get into it? Like, what was your...
It was prohibition.
It was prohibition, yes. The charges were
Alcohol
dropped.
is legal again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, what was your first job?
I was in a catering hall. It was a wedding factory. There were like 8 different rooms. Yeah, sometimes there were 8 different weddings going on. I was literally like 20 years old. I was working in a bagel shop. I was like, well, this sucks. And so I was looking through the yellow pages. I saw bartending school. I actually went to bartending school.
Wow.
See, everybody, I get the same reaction, but I'm telling you, best investment. Because they taught me so much. I was so young. I was a kid. But they taught me the ropes. I mean, I had worked in restaurants before as a busboy, but the bagel shop is like hot and sweaty. You got to be there 5 in the morning. So went to bartending school 2 weeks. I think it was like back then. It was like 1985. It was like $400.
Yeah.
And they got me a job, and I got my first job at the Huntington Townhouse. It's this huge wedding factory. One of the best times of my life, man. I still have friends from that job, and they came to my wedding 2 months ago.
Congratulations.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was a great time. It was a great time. And the best part about working like in a catering hall, when you're new to the job, you don't have to deal with money. You just make drinks, deal with people, and learn how to do that. So it really was a valuable experience. And it's very seasonal. So after that, once the wedding season dies down, I went looking for other work, and I went back to a restaurant that I was a busboy at, and I said, hey, I'm a bartender now. And I got a job there, and I was there for 2 years, and it was great. Yeah.
I feel I should admit at this point, the best job I've ever had was at a bagel shop. I'm sorry. So I feel like...
Yeah, I did love the bagel shop. It was fun. It was a good job. Nothing against bagel shops.
Like if I could go back and do everything differently, I would have stayed at that bagel shop.
I actually kept that job. I had that job during the week, And then the Wedding Factory, on the weekends, because it's a wedding, it's catering.
Yeah.
So Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. That was my first bartending job. And,
Amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
Mike,
It was a lot of fun.
Mike, what you got? How'd you get into the game?
Well, I was in college, came here to New York to go to school, and
DeVry? You were DeVry, right? That's where
Yeah.
you started out?
how did you know?
Technical
That's-
Career
Center
Institute.
Yeah.
Technical
That is-
TCI.
Wow, you just hit the
And then
nail
you moved-
right on the head.
and then you moved-
There you go.
You got your master's at Barbizon.
Yes.
And then Barbizon.
They're still
Man.
open.
We literally just met. I
You're
should
right.
take a little time
You haven't even
before
opened up.
I didn't even say anything.
This is all moving so
I'm
fast.
sorry.
You didn't even open
I
up the
take all
book.
that.
You read the cover and said that was enough.
Let me try this again.
Will you hold me
Mike,
after I come?
How did you get started in the business?
Oh, pass.
All right, let's move on to Billy. How'd you get into it? How'd you get started?
I was in college. A professor of mine had worked at Caroline's Comedy Club when he was in college, and he set me up with a meeting for the GM. I knew I wasn't going to get a bartender job, so I went in to be a bar back. And God bless this man. He was fantastic. He was a really nice guy. He wanted me to make money. Like, he's very effeminate. He came in and he was like, "Oh, you seem like a nice boy. Why don't you make some real money and be a waiter?" It was the worst decision I had ever made in my life. So I go in to be a bar back, and he asked me to be a waiter, and I say, sure, it's not really what I want to do. I don't really want to wait tables.
Who
My
does?
first night, I shit you not, 28 two-tops at Caroline's Comedy Club.
Sweet.
So
My sphincter just puckered up. I was a real bad waiter. So, that's.
I didn't last long. I'm just not very good at any of that.
It's a hard job, man.
What you were talking about is sort of like up my alley. I'd much rather just talk to people
Yes.
than, work or count cash.
Why does anyone?
Yeah.
Oh man.
No.
And so at Caroline's, I'm just trying to figure. That's a comedy club.
It is a great comedy club.
So are people coming
Big
up to the
comedy.
bar, or is it all service bar?
So there's a front bar there, but there's a big room. They're supposed to put 300 people, but hey, don't tell the FDNY. But it might
Right.
be 400.
Right.
And yeah, they pack them all in there, and I didn't last. I'll keep it short. My real first bartending job, I moved from the glorious Carolines down to the Port Authority bowling alley, known as Frames Bowling Alley. Let me tell you, I shit you not though, I was making $300 a night and I didn't stop. I kept on it for 2.5
It's a
years.
sweet gig.
It was.
Not bad, actually.
I couldn't believe it.
I've been there.
Yeah,
That's a good
Those
bar.
Bridge and Tunnel crowd, they're so
Yeah,
desperate
yeah,
to give away
right.
their money, they work so hard for it.
Dude, commuters, man. I got 20 minutes for my bus and my train.
Yeah, let me blow $100.
Bang, bang, bang. Yeah, okay, see you tomorrow. Yes, you will.
Yeah. Yes, you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Billy? How'd you get into it?
Well,
Yeah, a dramatic pause.
unlike these guys, I didn't waste time going to bartending school or college. I went straight to the bar.
And you were like, what's on the other side of that bar?
I lied. I manipulated my way to the top.
Good.
I had a job as a waiter in some garbage pancake house in New Jersey. And then I moved up to Rhode Island. I moved to Providence and went to this little cocktail bar and just said that I had experience as a bartender. Applied for a job as a bartender, and they threw me on.
Amazing.
And I was okay at it.
Obviously, it worked out.
To this day, you've not gotten any better.
I was good at it.
Yeah.
I knew how to make myself drinks at home. I like to drink.
yes.
I enjoy drinking.
Those are the qualifications.
I was
And hey-
21 years old. I was okay. I was like stupid. I didn't know anything, but I was good at it. I was fast. So I just did that. I just lied. I didn't want to be a waiter because I saw the bartenders that I worked with making more money.
Yeah.
Some more,
That's a fact.
a more fun job. So I just lied and they put me on. And as soon as they put me on, of course, everybody, all my management realized that, yeah, this guy has no bar experience whatsoever.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, he has no idea
Yeah,
what
you
he's
must.
doing. But I did a good job. I made it through.
Do people, for the most part, in that industry? I mean, I did a little bit of time as a bartender, a little bit of time as a waiter. Is everyone just lying about your experience all the time? Like,
You
because
always
it
embellish
seems
your
like a hard
experience.
job to get, especially in New York. and you come to New York, you probably don't have any experience. So everyone just lies about where they've worked.
That's
and
the
when
only
they've
way,
worked, or-
unless you know somebody. That's the only
Are there
way to get out of the
interviews?
city,
Are you
yeah.
getting interviewed when you're going in to be
In
a
Manhattan,
bartender?
yeah.
Yeah,
You are.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And what are they asking you on an interview about your? They just want to know experience and if you know how to make a Midori sour, or like what's the?
That's the trick question. That's the trick question.
The majority
Yeah, you're out of here.
The staple of New York.
Manhattan?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
what the
very
Statue of
important.
Liberty drinks, the Midori Sour.
You get
Jesus
interviews.
Christ.
When I moved here, I guess like 12 years ago now, I couldn't get a job to save my life, and I had tended bar in a bunch of good places already. I mean, you know, in Providence and a couple places in Jersey, but I couldn't get a job. But I knew I was a good bartender. Could not get a job because I had no New York experience. So I just started whining about it, and then got a job.
Yeah. When you're starting out as a bartender, is there like are there people that mentor you? Do you feel like you learn from? Did you have like
Oh, yeah.
a genius, amazing bartender like from Cocktail? You know, Tom Cruise is whoever that British guy was.
It depends on your.
You can learn that monologue.
Ryan Brown.
Is that his name?
Brian Brown, yeah.
Oh, so did you have a Brian Brown? Or
I did.
You
I
did.
Oh, yeah.
You had a guy who you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
this
yeah.
guy is.
Yeah, when I went back to my to the other place, to the actual restaurant, and they hired me as a bartender, I would do service bar, and then I would work upstairs in their lounge, and it was just like this high-end Italian restaurant, you know, all mobbed up, a lot of millionaires coming in there, and I was so young, like 21, 22 years old, and these guys, you know, like I felt I was intimidated by these people. They were these older dudes, you know, coming in. They had so much money, and they just like look right through you, and it just it really bothered me. And I said, you know, the other bartenders, there was Ed, dear friend, rest in peace. But you know, one night I was just like, you know, I don't like you know, the way they look at me, man. I can't take it. You know, they just make me feel so like I'm nothing. And he's like, back then I was a Larry. He's like, Larry, listen, it's not how they look at you. It's the way you look back at them. Don't let them intimidate you.
Yeah.
And I remember that.
And then
I
they
remember
respect that.
And yeah, it is confidence.
It's a job where it's so easy just to feel, or just not feel confident in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you're
Which is so funny because it seems like a position of power, at least the dynamic when you walk
only
in
when
the
you're
bar.
on the other
You
side of
make
the
it-
box.
you make it work. You
Yeah.
can make it work for you, or you can just
Yeah.
go through the motions and not give a shit about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that.
Because in a way,
There's
you're
two
kind of the
ways to do
star of the bar, as a patron. As
You're
a
the star,
patron,
you are the star.
You know, you walk
Right.
in and you yes.
You're the only one I care about.
Right.
You're talking to me?
Yes.
Okay.
So when you when you guys are starting out
Mike.
and you're getting trained by these guys, do you have any stories about like awful mistakes you made, awful nights you had, things that went terribly wrong when you're first starting out, or were you just geniuses from day one, basically?
I remember when I was a young kid tending bar at the same cocktail bar, I really didn't know anything. And I got good at making martinis, I got good at making Manhattans and stuff, but I didn't know any drinks, I didn't know any classic cocktails. And it, like, nothing went horribly wrong, but I remember this one guy at my bar, is a much older guy, in his like late 60s, older, you know, wealthy guy. It was a higher end bar. And he ordered a Negroni. I'd never heard of that drink before.
It's a
Never
gross.
heard of that. And I was
Tastes
like,
like
I kind of like it. It's bitter as hell.
when he ordered it, it's delicious. It's
Yeah,
my
it is.
favorite drink
I like
now.
it too.
But he ordered that. I hadn't heard of it, and I thought that I was the shit because I was good at working this bar and I'd never done it before. I thought I was the man. Yeah, it's like that. All right, well, what do you want? Like I was a dick to this guy.
Oh no!
He's like Negroni, and he told me what was in it.
Tell me more about
and
this
I was thinking in my head, I was
Negroni
like,
you speak
that sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
It's gin, Campari, and sweet vermouth.
Sweet
Those
vermouth.
things
You'll
all
walk-
sound gross.
Why?
I was like, okay. You had this drink in a bar once. It was a specialty drink. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, I was treating this guy like he was an asshole.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he can buy and
Always
sell
thinking
you.
about that.
Good.
I'm like, oh, okay.
So I think a lot of people become bartenders. One, because especially in New York City, you can make some pretty decent money if you're at the right place.
It's good
and you-
living.
Yeah.
It is a good
so
living.
I'm curious. Talk to me about, like, and feel free to either discuss numbers or not numbers. your biggest payday that you remember in your career. What happened? Is there a story behind it? What, you know what I mean? Is someone coming down and just throwing tons of money down for no reason at all to impress somebody, or?
Yeah. So for no good reason, that bar in Port Authority, the bowling alley in Port Authority,
Cash
is where
cow.
I made the
Dope.
most money.
It's a cash cow.
It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
You know, most places, you know, you make $100, 150, 200 on a good night. More than once, more than several times, I made over $300 cash, walk home cash at the bowling alley in Port Authority.
Because it's packed, or because people are tipping really well?
Because
or?
they're so sad. If you made it into the bar at Port Authority, your life's not
I mean,
good.
the present company excluded.
so
When we're there, it's totally.
They're just drowning it out at that point.
No, I disagree. I think it's because it's a sanctuary. Like Port Authority,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
think
a commuter. You can't, you love. You can't, you
Yeah.
love.
No, but your regulars.
But I
Your
mean,
regulars
yeah.
make or break you wherever
You
you're
know,
at.
I mean, commuter bars are great because it's corporate professionals. They're coming from work. They're going home. I got an hour for my train.
Yeah.
Let me get something to eat, a couple of pops, and get on the train. And I'll be back tomorrow to do the exact same thing. What's your name? Great to meet you. Okay, see you tomorrow. And once that happens a couple of times, you know, as soon as Stoli Blueberry and Diet Coke hits the door, boom, here you go. No, I'm not even kidding. Yeah, like that's one of our guys over at Nick and Steph's. Like as soon as I see him, like Stoli Blue, Diet Coke, and he's one and done. $5 tip. Great, thank you. Like that's your bread and butter.
It really is kind of about building a community, isn't it? I mean, that's
relationships.
the thing about bars, or I guess, you know, pub. The word pub comes from public house, like it's about the public being, and
Maybe not bowling.
and so maybe, well, it may or may not be a community
said
you
it.
want to be in, but do you talk a little bit about regulars? Because I feel like a big part of what you do is relating to regulars and relating to.
Love our regulars.
Yeah,
Love 'em.
and do you are they wacky? Are you really dig them being there because
They're
they kind
awesome.
of ground you in your everyday routine?
They're awesome. They're great, and they appreciate us. They love us, you know, because it's a place that they can come. It's a sanctuary, a refuge. You know, they can just duck in. Like, you know, one of my regulars, Joan. I've been working at this place 10 years, and you know, there's this lady Joan. The first time I met her, you know how I met her? I bonked her on the head with a tray. Yeah, she's like, I'm sorry. And then, you know, we got to know each other. She comes in, she has 2 glasses of Sancerre. You know, check. I might be back because the trains are always fucked up. But I know her 10 years, you know.
A lot of your regulars are like, or for me anyway, and have the same experience in other bars, but a lot of my regulars are other bartenders from the neighborhood.
That too.
Yeah.
So you
that's
get
it.
people
And
that
they
come
are the
straight
most
in,
respectful.
and I buy them a couple drinks.
Sure.
Nice. I tip you a lot of money, and then
Yeah.
works its way around the community of bars. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
comes
it's
back.
in a small neighborhood. Depends on where you work, but usually your regulars are people in the industry.
I was
For the
just
most
there
part.
tonight. I was at a friend's bar. He's bartending not too far from here up in Hell's Kitchen. And that's just the way it goes. You have friends that are in the business, or, I mean, I've been out for a little bit, but you go in, you go out, and there's always people, there's always a community. And if you treat the other people that are around here, especially in New York, especially, you know, above 23rd Street, you know where to go. You know the people that are there.
Yeah.
And those people are really what keep you alive, because
Yeah.
as much as money is great, as much as we all need to pay the bills, if we're bartending, we better be having some fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and it's key for survival. I mean, if you're working a slow Monday night, you're not one fucking person at the bar out in the neighborhood. You always have your other regulars who come in every single Monday night,
Yeah.
and you buy them a beer, and you fucking
Well, they can make your
10,
night.
10, 15, $20,
Make your night.
and you make some money.
I love you.
No matter what.
You say a lot of the regulars are bartenders. I mean, I think obviously sometimes bartenders are people who like to drink, and I witness this, you know, when I go into bars.
And they love free shit too.
They love
I do as well.